last episode in this 4-part series, so if you've not checked out the other episodes yet, make sure you do after this one. Today I will be talking about sensing beyond the 3D realm. I feel like for this subject, sensing beyond the 3D realm, it's almost like so much could go into this, and this is definitely an ability of mine that I'm just starting to recognize. I'm just starting to see sort of unravel for myself, but I do feel like it sort of comes under psychic abilities basically. What are you knowing? Also empath abilities. So if you find that you are an empath, you might be able to relate to this episode a lot. And I think maybe if you haven't had many sort of sensing beyond the 3D experiences, maybe after sort of seeing what that entails, if you're an empath, you'll be able to start using these abilities yourself and finding that you begin to sense things. As I say for all these episodes, it's not easy for me to remember every single experience that I've had because I don't make notes of them, and you know, I'm 31 years old, so I can't remember everything that has happened for me, but I will share what I can with you guys. And it's always best for me to just share from my own experience because that's what I'm an expert in, but I'm not an expert at the same time, just in my own experiences. So if you are interested in this, I definitely suggest that you seek out people who have maybe even more experience and to look deeper into this. Read some books, maybe watch some lectures, find people on YouTube who are speaking on these subjects, because the more you sort of open yourself up to this world, I feel like the more experiences you'll end up having because you're opening yourself up to those experiences by looking into them. So what experiences have I had sensing beyond the 3D realm? I can definitely sense majority of the time when people are lying to me. To be honest, I never call people out on their lies because I feel so embarrassed for them, and I feel embarrassed about the fact that they're lying. I suffer with secondhand embarrassment for people, so I don't really feel comfortable to be like, I know that you're lying. It's just, I just want to get away from the situation or the subject that they're lying about like ASAP, because it makes me very uncomfortable. But I know when people are lying, so heads up people, don't lie to me because I know, and it makes me feel awkward, and I won't want to be around you much if you keep doing that. But yeah, so sensing when people are lying. So this is a sense that you have. So when you're sensing, and that is beyond the 3D, because what goes on inside people is not in the physical. You can't see it physically. So this is why what I meant about being an empath, and how you are sensing beyond the 3D realm when you are an empath, because you can be around someone and you can be like, what's wrong? You know, like there's something wrong. If you dig really deep into that, you will know what's wrong. Something recently I've been getting is I can just pass people in the street, or for example, not everybody, this is not every single person I meet, every single person I pass, but when I'm in a certain state where I have a clear mind, I have to be relaxed in sort of a meditative state, which I often am when I'm driving, because I have a clear mind and I'm just in that sort of zone basically. I find like the other day I was driving and I could literally just, I had a sense, a knowing of the people I was driving past. I passed these people and I just got a flash and like in my mind's eye of what was going on with them. It was personal, so I'm not going to go into that, but it was like, whoa, what's going on with those guys? It's like intense. And that kind of snapped me out of my meditative state, to be honest, because I was like, whoa, like I totally got like my empath kicks, but for just driving past these people, but not just a feeling, but a knowing of what exactly they was talking about and what was going on with them. And I guess this is something that can be hard to prove, but it's just trusting that you know, With people in your life, you can get more evidence, I guess, for what you know, because you know them, unless they have like a certain sort of block up towards you, or you have a blind spot with them, because we all have blind spots, you know. So that's another thing. It's sort of learning what your blind spots are is helpful, but yeah, you will have sort of blind spots where people can get around you. Also, for so long with this ability with me is I chose to not believe it. I chose to think I was just being paranoid, being crazy. Like what I was seeing, these flashes of insight, I would tell myself they're not flashes of insight, they're just weird thoughts. Like, why am I thinking this about other people? It's not to do with me. Why am I feeling so like as if it's real? Because it actually turns out that it's fucking real, you know. And you're having flashes and insights because it's real. Not saying that, you know, like you can't have thoughts beyond that and everything in your mind is real. No, I'm not saying that, but there's a difference with this, and the more you sort of work with that, the more you can see, okay, what am I sensing that's real, what am I sensing that's not real. And this is not easy by any means. This has took me literally years of toxic and dangerous situations for me to finally trust these inner knowings to be very, very real. Now I save myself a lot of time and a lot of danger by actually listening to them, and that's just on a personal level. Now I'm able to sort of stretch these to understanding how it goes beyond my own safety, my own personal world and level. But yeah, it takes years, and it's definitely something worth looking into within yourself. If we're going to go talking about beings and ghosts, is you can just tell when there's beings in the room. To be honest, what helps is if you have a familiar or a cat, like myself, Sage, he often lets me know when there's sort of an active spirit. I feel like sometimes the fairies come around a lot and they really wind up Sage, and they have Sage chasing them around. And I can sense when stuff is around majority of the time, not all the time, because sometimes it surprises me, like last night with the whisper, definitely surprised me. But generally I can sort of sense normally when stuff is around. But I'm definitely more tuned in to people and what's going on with people, I guess, within the 3D realm, but it is in a way beyond the 3D realm, because it's what's going on within their consciousness. So sensing is sort of that psychic ability for what do I know? You can sense when these things are happening, like whether something's good or bad. You can sense, like I was saying in episode 1, when there was sort of that more darker orb, the grey orb and the white orb, I could definitely sense that the white orb was higher dimension and maybe didn't even own a physicality, whereas the dense orb just seemed more like denser and lower dimension. Just play around with really tuning into what you are sensing around you. So with everything, how do I feel about that? What is my inner being telling me about that? What's my physical body telling me about that? With literally everything, with people, with food, with when you're feeling like there's a spirit around or something like that, with decisions you have to make, you know. So really going into your body and sensing what is going on here, what is the truth here, seeking that truth. Hey guys, so I'm just making myself a coffee, and I totally just felt like I missed out so many points in my last in the video I just recorded, which was about sensing beyond the 3D. So one of the main things I would say, you're sensing beyond the 3D when you're connecting with your guides. Obviously you can connect with your guide in all the other ways, as in they can touch you, they can talk to you, you can see them, but you can also sense them and sense the messages that are coming through from you. So a good way for you to really start using that is becoming sort of tuned in to what you're seeing. So for example, I just now was watching a video that's nothing to do with tarot or pick a cards or anything like that, and as the next suggested video was a pick a card that's not like a recent one by someone I follow. It's a pick a card from 9 months ago. The message kept coming and it comes up through my being, which is like, there's something there for you, there's a message there for you, there's something there for you. And it was just a reminder that, you know, it can seem like the mundane, the everyday. Sorry, I'm in my kitchen now, it's not as aesthetic, but I did just want to add that in because that experience just happened to me now. And yeah, I just think it's important to know that that's a good way of strengthening that knowing and that connection that you have with your higher self, your guides, whatever it is that you want to call that. Yeah, so knowing that you'll be called towards things, and that as well is a sense, like you're sensing something is pulling you towards it. It's almost like a message is there for you, and this can happen in ways simply like that when you pick a card. And even when you're drawn to pick a card, you're not always drawn to watch every video unless maybe it's one of your favorite creators, but it's like I don't watch that many other people's picker cards because obviously I can do my own card readings, but only when I had that strong pull, like there's a message there for you, you know? And that is that sensing there's something there for you. Another way for sensing beyond the 3D realm is when you have that really strong feeling that you're not alone. Now this is definitely you sensing some kind of being, some kind of spirit in your aura space, in the room with you, wherever it is that you are. Sometimes you can just walk into a part of the woods where you really sense like another presence there, there's something there. And sometimes you can be completely alone, but you can feel like you're being watched, and this is you sensing the beings, the entities around you. I must stress that if you do get this sense that something is watching you and you are out in a public space like the woods or something and you're alone, please do double check if something in the 3D is watching you, because there could be some like creepy guy watching you, and I don't want you like not paying attention to that because you think it's always going to be a being. It's often likely going to be a spiritual being, but just in case, always double check. So you have to start trusting that, and the more that you start trusting that, the more you can start, they will start feeling comfortable, and that you're not in a fearful place, that they can then start contacting you in other ways. Maybe they want to show themselves physically via orbs, or even beyond that, or maybe they want to just start talking to you or touching you. But definitely know that is another way that you're sensing your guides, you're sensing other beings around you. It's like when you feel like you're being watched, you know that feeling, but there's no one around to be watching you. So just tuning into that more, and yeah, that's you sensing. I think this is the one that I think most of us experience. We all have the access to the same abilities, and it's just sort of tuning into them and turning them on, you know? It's almost like we all come in with the same buttons and machinery that can do the same thing, but it's like, what have you turned on? Like, you have to turn the things on when you want to access into them. I don't know if that was what you were really expecting for seeing beyond the 3D in the sensing episode, but that's pretty much everything I can think of to share. There's been plenty of times where I've sensed something and it's turned out to be true, so I would go into some of the real juicy stuff I have on that, but it's very personal and I'm not going there with the very personal stuff. But yeah, so yeah, just trust me on that one. It's something where if you just have to start trusting that, your gut, trusting your body, yeah, that's pretty much sensing for you. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Definitely let me know about your empath abilities, and what have you felt like you've been able to sense into. Have you been able to sense your way into sense like portals? Maybe a lot of people are able to sense like energy portals and then be able to travel through those energy portals. I find that stuff really fascinating. I hope to experience that myself one day. Let me know what your experiences are. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode. It is the last episode of my mini series here on Beyond the 3D. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like me to do more stuff like this, I do enjoy speaking about it. Thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, I hope you will